Greetings, most honorable listeners and masters of the martial arts. I am Travis.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Big Los.
And this is CTE, and this is going to be an experience for you. And that experience is going to start with, I don't know if you
Papa was a Rolling Stone, but now I got Rolling Stones in the bezel. Ice. Mama at home all alone, hustling, trying to keep this shit together. Mama, young smoking on gas, I'm living too fast, my foot on the pedal. If I go back to the past, my niggas ain't know we'll be rocking Coachella. Hey. If a ever try me or play me, I buy him an iced out shovel. Dig your own grave, you played yourself. I put some cash on your schedule. You played yourself. If a ever try to fillet me, I just sit back and love her. She got it. Then she come up off the chores, whatever. My pockets came with extra cheddar.
All right, that was 30 seconds, so that's what I'm gonna stop it at. Before we go any further, we are sponsored by the Virtual Fight Tour, and coming up June 26th, which is next week, people, get your tickets at 6 p.m. Get your tickets before, and at 6 p.m. we will be Virtual Fight Tour 9, the craziest lineup that we've seen in the Virtual Fight Tour since.
Yes.
This one is going to be a big one. It's only 4 fights, but each fight is a main event fight. Each fight, it has its own story behind it, and I can't wait for each one of those fights. I'm going to actually be in the building. So yeah, there's that. Yep. All right. So make sure you get your tickets for Virtual Fight Tour 9, June 26th.
Nothing. I was going to say, make sure you get them. This is going to be a good one.
It's going to be a great one. All right. Real quick, let's go around, and I'm going to start with you, Los. How are you feeling? How are you doing? How is everything going?
Doing well, man. Everything's going good. Second school should be opening up in a couple weeks, so that's where I'm at right now. Putting some final touches and stuff here before I actually go home for the night. Weekend was good. Kids had baseball, so they all did really well. My youngest son is really doing really well with it, playing real well. He's going to make the all-star team for like our little county or whatever. So it's good weekend.
You enjoy being a baseball dad, don't you?
You know what? It's like a yes and no. I never played baseball, so I never really got into it, right? So when I watch my kids play, I don't watch it as a person that's a fan of the sport. I watch it as a competitor and how I can help them compete in that aspect of competition, right? So competition is competition. So that's why, and I like to see my kids compete. I don't care if they win or lose. I just want to see them compete and get out there and do what they can possibly do to help their team. So my youngest is definitely doing that. My oldest he actually been doing it too. And all my kids are doing it. All my kids are doing really well, man. They're little good athletes. They're starting to understand the importance of competition and what it means to compete.
Are you a loud parent?
No, I am a parent that I sit and I wait and I listen to what other coaches and other people are saying. And most of the times they're not saying the right stuff that I believe is going to help my kid connect and engage with what needs to happen. I don't think a lot of kids engage. It's kind of like, come on, you can do this, get it to the plate, and it's like, I don't know. You know how we get as martial artists and coaches and stuff, right? We like, no, that's not what you got to say. You got to have the right information to give someone to trigger their thought and response to what you're wanting them to do. So that's something that I try not to be that dad. It's hard sometimes because I don't want my kids to not have a good experience or feel pressure. So yeah, I probably just kind of lay low. I mean, I say stuff if I see they're not getting out of it. Like my daughter one time, man, she's having a horrible game, and I just had to like get her locked in. Like, listen, you just got to focus. You got to compete. Like these kids come up here and like you're pitching the ball to them. It's like you're just trying to get the ball to the plate as opposed to just trying to get the ball to the catcher. If you get the ball to the catcher every time, you can then increase your speed, your velocity, the change of your pitch and everything. But you at least got to get it to the catcher. And so just teach her stuff like that. And the coach is just not telling her that type of stuff. But I don't have the time to go out and be a coach. So.
Man, you never played the game.
And I never played the game. I never played. I couldn't tell you much of anything about baseball. Besides that, you want to try to hit the ball and you want to try to throw the ball so they can't hit it. Like that's about all I got.
Not the strategy, the other part that goes with
Nah.
So if it's in the air, you got to catch it.
Yeah.
You just throw to one of those bases to stop the people from running around the bases.
Listen, Listen, if the ball's going behind you, you got to kind of backpedal to go get the ball. Like you can't just like sometimes you got to see it happening. You got to move your body before you actually react too late. That's what happens sometimes. The kids, they just react too late, right? So they're not engaged and ready. So like if a ground ball comes between me and another kid, we're both looking at each other like, who's gonna get it, you or me? Like, no, someone's got to go get it. Like, you know what I mean? Like little stuff like that. It drives. I don't want to say it drives me crazy, but it kind of gets me a little bit. But they're kids, so I got to remember that too.
Exactly.
But I also know that what we've been able to do with kids and our ability to help them reach new heights from our coaching and our just our ability to help people develop and grow. So it's catch-22. It's a good time though.
I'm gonna save Chris for last. I'm gonna go now. For my weekend, I guess. It was interesting. I gotta pick and choose what I say happened. So I went, long story short, I flew out to DC because a friend of mine turned 40. I flew to DC and then hung out a day in DC, then went up to Baltimore for 2 days, then came back to DC and hung out in DC for like one last day, and then flew out this morning. So I'm kind of tired because I flew out the flight left at 6 a.m. But the interesting thing about it was really weird. I like my stomach has been fine, but Thursday it went haywire. Like before I got on the plane, like standing in security. So that was just a whole thing trying to get through security and fight my stomach basically. So I didn't understand what the heck was going on, and so for the whole time I was there, my stomach wasn't acting right. Then I got back here, and he's chilling. I'm just like, yo, fam, like you can't just turn it on and off like that. Like that doesn't make any sense. I don't understand what just happened, but it was a interesting weekend to say the least. And of course, shot the podcast from the hotel the other day. Yeah, but it was interesting to see how DC is changing. That was the most interesting part because in 2019, I saw when I would go out there, I would see different. I knew certain establishments, and like you go to them, and they were getting moved out. Like they were basically kind of like gentrifying the area because they were raising the prices. And I'm not talking about like small mom and pop stuff. These are like Hooters. Like they closed Hooters because they like, hey, they went up like 3 times on the rent. People can't afford it. And so some of my favorite places that were in like the gallery place area had just like shut down. Like, so, and I was like, dang, that's crazy. Because they were expecting an influx of money in different establishments because they kind of redid a portion not far from there where they have like Burberry, Chanel. They kind of making it like a Rodeo Drive type of area. And so it's not far from there. So they kind of wanted to get some different type of, venues in there. So when I went back yesterday and I walked around down there, they boarded up. Like those places, because I guess that COVID hit and a lot of people just can't afford those crazy prices. So whoever got greedy in 2019, they lost big because it's a lot of places. And one of the places that I used to go to a lot it's called Matchbox, and they moved down the street a little further down. So I went down there and they were open still. But they
weren't in that spot that they were in. Where
that place is boarded up, closed up. And so I was just sitting there like, people taking gambles and trying to get get rich and run up the prices. So it's going to be interesting to see how certain parts of DC have to bounce back because I saw a lot of different places that were shut down. But that new district was flourishing. It looks really nice. And the hotel I had booked at the last minute on Sunday, it was just different. I don't know how to explain it. Like everything was like I didn't notice, but everything was like pink in there. It was like a millennial type of thing. It was weird. Like you use your phone to get to your room. Like the whole thing was just weird. Like the dynamic of that room was just weird. I don't even know. Like wood. It's like something like like out of the Bay where everybody's trying to be like trendy with the it had that feel to it. So we lost Chris. He'll be back. But yeah, so it was kind of weird that way. And I was just kind of like, crazy. But as
So,
far as
as your assessment as to where it's going, like, what was your thoughts as to where it's going? Just more not futuristic, but a little more like high end, streamlined,
yeah, that area
trendy
there.
type.
Yeah, that area is trying to get. Well, that's the crazy thing. They want that. I think they want that area to be, because the amount of shops they had. These shops never existed when I was living there. Now you had like Dior, Chanel, and they have their own standalone shop. And then right next to them are like a steak place that I've never heard of. That is, I could look at it and say it's going to be $35 to go in there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, okay. So I didn't. It was just interesting trying to see how all of that, how DC is changing and what they're going to do with it. I have no idea what they're going to do with it, but it's they definitely are trying to get a lot more money infused in that area.
Mm-hmm.
And that hotel I was in wasn't too far from the area, so and I had never heard of the Moxie before, so I was kind of like, all right, well, looks kind of trendy. I kind of usually stay in little trendy places, but this one was more trendy than I've ever stayed in, or whatever the case may be. So, Angel said the headboard looked like a briefcase because it had like a strap on it. It was weird, man. The whole thing was just weird, man. It was just odd. So, Chris,
Yes.
Tell us about your weekend, sir.
Oh man, I had a busy weekend. We had a graduation on Friday. I drove down to Florida on Friday night after that was all done, and to attend the funeral service of a friend of mine. Then left at about 6 or so, and drove back to Atlanta. Got home late, 3 in the morning. Woke up, did a birthday party, and then did a jiu-jitsu tournament.
Yeah.
I got to do a no-gi jiu-jitsu tournament for IBJJF. It was my first one, and I won. So I was pretty excited about a round back and forth road trip and birthday party and getting everything done, and then still making it out to my match. Shout out to my staff and my wife for making sure everything was on point for that, allowing me to be able to do that. You know what I mean? So and then I gotta do some jiu-jitsu.
Round of applause.
Yeah, I get the whole applause going there.
I know you took it.
How was it? How was the experience of doing that tournament? Especially this, you said this is your first no-gi tournament, and
it was my first IBJJF tournament. So it was the organization.
Yeah, IBJJF.
Yeah,
I said it.
You
I
got
said
it.
it right. Yeah. Had to think about it. But yeah, how was that experience? What was it like competing in it? And
it was cool. The only thing is they gave me a set time for my match, and they said it may fluctuate. And I was supposed to go at 5:30, and I ended up grappling at like 3:35. So that kind of threw me off. That's why I kind of had to give a bigger shout out to my wife and my staff, because you know, I had to stay all the way through the end of the birthday party and not been able to cut out when I got the phone call. Hey man, they moved your matchup. You got to get here.
How far was it from the school?
40 minutes.
Yeah,
but with traffic.
Yeah.
But with traffic, it was 50.
Yeah.
They called me at like 2:50 saying, "Hey, I think they moved your match up to 4:30." I was like, "Oh man, I gotta go because it's gonna be a long time." I left at 3:00. I got there
just in time,
very unsafely to get there. And I listen. I ran through the parking lot. I had already put my grappling shorts on. I was in my slides, my grappling shorts, and I had my rash guard in my hand, and I was just running through the parking lot inside. I got there. The guy told me, "Hey, those shorts are illegal. They got colors on them. They're only supposed to be black and white only." So then I had to run around the event for like 3 minutes until I found one of my teammates. I was like, "Hey, let me go get them shorts real quick so I can grapple." Ran over there, weighed in, walked over, stepped on the mat, and did my match.
Wow.
Yeah. So is it like set matches?
No, it's a bracket, but I guess it was there were 4 of us originally, and then 2 guys didn't show up
because they moved that time up.
Yeah, probably. So it ended up just being the 2 of us for the finals. It was pretty cool.
Good. That's good. So
Well,
what did you
then,
win
one
by?
Straight ankle lock.
You won by submission or by points?
Submission, sir.
So what's up?
I try not. I try not to leave it in the points or any kind of that hands. I was winning 9-0, and then I got the ankle lock.
I was gonna say you're not gonna tell us submission, ankle lock. All right, cool.
Straight ankle lock, yes, sir. We're at the purple belt rank. We're not allowed to do anything other than straight ankle locks for the feet and ankles. So,
all right, that's what I'm talking about. Get him that straight ankle.
That's right.
Give him a straight ankle.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, whatever that is.
That's almost right, Travis.
Yeah.
I'm dying. That's
but yeah, so congratulations, Chris,
Thank
on that. Real dope. Glad to hear it. Back out there competing. Running to go ahead and compete. All right. So I'm just glad they called you and said, hey, they moved you up.
I was
it
happy.
one of your teammates that called you, or
yes.
was it like the organization?
No, the organization. I guess they have it online, and I was supposed to like monitor it all day or go up there and spend all day up there at the tournament. But like, I had,
had other things to do.
Other things to do. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you tell somebody 5:30 and then you move it up like 2 hours or something like that. That's it's a big thing. I can see you move it up an hour or something like that, but 2 hours, that can be detrimental. Yeah.
That was a little, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, glad you got there and didn't get that guy a free win there.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Yeah. He was walking around.
Because if you wouldn't have showed up, that'd have been two other people. That'd have been three, but I didn't show up. They had the first place putting it up on everything. Like, I won first place.
Like, I beat 4 people. I mean, I beat 3 people. You know what I'm saying? They were so
I got
scared.
first place. There were 4 in my division.
There
were 4 in the division.
I got first place. There were 4 people in my division. All right. So let's continue, fellas, with
VFT
our VFT 9.
Get ready. Chopping it
I'm
up.
about to pull it up real quick for us.
Boom, boom.
Real quick. All righty. Now I'm going to share my screen if I can ever get to. Oh, yes. All righty, fellas. All right. So we have the tail of the tape. This week, we're going to focus on Bailey Murphy versus Enrique Latona. All right. The reason why I wanted to focus on this is because it goes back to us beginning our our podcast days.
Yeah.
And Chris was like, "Hey, there's this kid named Enrique Latona and his little brother Jason. They cold. You got to pay attention to him." I said, "Who?" He said, "Yo, you don't know who's Enrique Latona? Boy can kick." I said, "All right. Well, I want to start paying attention to him." So I started watching him. I'm like, Enrique can fight. And I said, I wonder how this is going to affect, Bailey, because Bailey's been kind of winning down there. So I want to see how he stacks up against Enrique. And then Bailey beat Enrique and then sent us a message. No, they haven't caught up. And I just like, that's hilarious.
I'll never forget that.
So I'm like, okay, that's hilarious. So, all right. So there is a story there of they're both 19. As the tail of the table will go up. Both 19 years old. Weight is 160 for Bailey, 155 for Enrique. Bailey's 5'10", Enrique's 5'9". And as you can see, their accomplishments are all over the place.
That's it.
With that being said, with that being said, I'm just going to say, there's a similarity of the tail of the tape that it's not that big of a height or weight advantage for Bailey. Yes, Bailey's bigger and by 5 pounds and 1 inch taller. So it's not like it's like a huge difference between the two fighters, right? It's not like Tyreek and Christian. Christian has a decidable size advantage versus Tyreek, but in this one they're kind of closely in size. Enrique is a little bit smaller, but Enrique is a kicker, whereas Bailey is. I'm not gonna say he's not a kicker. I'm gonna say he's a puncher. He's more of a puncher than he is a kicker.
He's a puncher that can kick.
Yes.
If he needs to.
Right. I'm trying to think about it.
Listen, Bailey's explosive with his legs. You didn't see
Bailey
the
can
clip.
kick
You
better.
didn't see the clip of him doing the
Yeah, I
jump
did
half
see that.
tornado. In
Where
Mexico?
was that?
Mexico.
That was Mexico this past weekend?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay. Because we'll get into that maybe because I'm not sure who won down there. I just know that I saw them post. I saw Brian was getting raised, but I don't know what he had won.
Those look like set matches.
Okay.
Carol
Yeah.
and Brian. So then Jason fought someone. Bailey. Yeah, there were a bunch of fights.
Yeah. So I think Bailey is a better kicker than Enrique is a puncher. You see what I'm saying? I'm curious about that.
Effectively, I would kind of have to give you agreements.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think back to Enrique, and I'm just trying to think of how effective is he with his hands?
He can be,
right?
But
okay, so like you know how Trevor it was effective with his hands, but he's still a kicker, right?
Yeah.
That long weird blitz that he used to have, that dive bomb kind of thing that he used to do, and so he was effective with his hands. I'm trying to think of if Enrique is that effective. I honestly can't remember. I haven't seen him over a year fight, so I honestly cannot remember if he's how.
And honestly, over a year you can develop. So we'll see what he's going to look like. I mean, that's going to be one of the tells because we haven't seen Enrique fight since what, Pro Point, the first one.
Yeah.
So that was the last time we saw Enrique fight, and that's a completely different setup than a regular point fight. Different. So you know what I mean. We'll see how that stacks up. We know Bailey's been active, and Bailey's been active in this. Enrique, you're right. Enrique has a great leg. Not just a picking it up and go, but it's effective. He baits in and he waits and then he uses it. Like he's a very effective kicker. Very effective kicker, and it's not like he
kicks with intent to score.
Yes, he doesn't waste. Los always talks about wasting kicks. Right? Yeah, that's why we judge kickers. They waste a lot. Enrique doesn't do that. He puts it in a place where he knows he can reach, or where he's going to bait you to pull you in and try to fire and sneak something off. And with that poses a different threat than the kickers we've seen fighting Bailey. We've seen Enrique beat Bailey, and Bailey beat Enrique.
Yes.
So
my question is, with this style of fighting being 3 rounds inside of a cage, how efficient does Enrique have to be with his kicking for that 3 rounds? Because kicking takes more energy than punching.
And more space.
That's what I was going to say. It all depends on if Bailey can bully, or not. If he does bully.
I think he can. I think he'll try to also.
Right.
But Enrique has that side kick that can neutralize his bullying, because he is very effective with that side kick. He keeps showing the end of his side kick.
Yes,
and it's not like that bent hand thing. Yes. He keeps showing the end of the side kick, judge that distance pretty well too. So I'm just curious as to, usually when it comes down to that 3rd round, we don't see a lot of kicking. In the fights, we usually don't see a lot of kicking in that 3rd round. So it'll be interesting to see how his stamina is going to be in that 3rd round with his legs, and if he can be effective punching. How effective can he be when he's punching? Yeah. What are your thoughts, Los?
I'll be curious. Like I've only seen a little bit of Enrique. I haven't seen him as much as you guys probably have. I know you guys speak very highly of him. You put him kind of in that same category as a Bailey and Tyreek and all those guys, but not really there.
I put him in the same category with Tyreek. I don't put him in the same category with Bailey. I think he's there. I just don't think he's been. Well, he might be.
Yeah,
He's
I mean,
right. He's like kind of right there.
I would like to see like what he brings to the fight with Bailey if he's a kicker. How he's going to neutralize Bailey's blitzing and his ability to negate the leg. So that would be curious to see how that works out for Enrique. Like I said, I don't really know him well enough to kind of even give a true judgment of what I think is going to happen. But I just think Bailey's just a different. He has a different level. So I'll be curious to see how Enrique brings himself up to that level to be paired there. Like you mean to say, like I belong here as well. This is his opportunity. You got 3 rounds with who's supposed to be the best in the game right now at that level.
This is going to determine who's the best right now. Like it just is what it is. 3 rounds.
They're gonna have a lot of these fights. Like how often have they fought so far? You said one person beat the other and the other beat the other?
I think there's more than just the 2 fights, but I can only remember watching and seeing 2 fights.
Yeah, I'm positive that I believe Bailey has more of a
winning record.
I would
probably venture off to say that as well.
Yeah, I would think because he's been in grands a little bit more. So I'm curious as to. And not to mention, Enrique moved up, 2 years ago. Bailey's been there for a while now in adults. So Bailey went up earlier before Enrique did. So, yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see who comes out in this fight, man. Like, I'm really excited about this. Is like one of the ones that, well, all of them are really, yeah, all of them pretty much. I'm interested in seeing these fights. And with all 4 of these fights, I would not be shocked at who wins the fight. As in shocked. Right?
No, would not be shocked at all.
I can see either side winning the fight, with the exception of one. I can't put that even in my mind. Okay, I can't put that in my mind.
Understandable. All right, so
three
out of the 4 for Travis.
Yes, 3 out of the 4.
Anybody can win.
Yes, anybody can win that fight. Those fights. So because of that, I'm really intrigued in seeing how this fight because
both of the other fights are 1 rounds. This is 3 rounds. Is we talk about it every time. Conditioning, game planning, and
adjustments.
Thank you.
Yeah, adjustments. We saw it at the last VFT 8, one of the biggest fight, the biggest point spread in there. That Jamal made the adjustment and Romani hadn't made the adjustment yet. Didn't pick up on it. So I'm interested in seeing this fight, man. I can't wait to see it. We got any other thoughts on this fight? Just in general,
man, it's gonna be good.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
This is gonna be good. This is gonna be a really good fight.
Because I got a feeling.
Go ahead.
I have a feeling about this because all right, so I texted you guys maybe last week, and I was like, "Hey, if you look at this, it's literally blacks versus Hispanics in every fight," which. It goes back to something I said before. It's like, is there like a civil war going on? Like, people cheering for the side. So when you and now that they have people in the building, you're gonna feel those cheers, and it's just gonna fuel the fight even more, and it's going to make it a dope scene. Like it's just going to be a lot of energy in the building.
Yes, because there's gonna be a lot of people in the building for these fights.
Yeah, people are going to come out and show out. And I think it's going to be an entertaining fight. They are selling tickets. They're limited tickets. I'm not sure how many tickets are still available. So yeah, but make sure you guys go to vfttv.myuventex.com if you're not going there and get your tickets. All right. Make sure you get those tickets. But yeah, this is going to be the VFT 9 is going to be it's going to be crazy. It's going to be really crazy. Any more thoughts on this fight, guys, or anything else as far as these fighters go, or what you're looking forward, or anything like that?
Los? No.
No. I mean, you guys say it's going to be a good fight. I'm at to go with what you guys say. I already know what Bailey's going to bring. I don't know Enrique, so I can't really be like, oh yeah, I can't wait to see Enrique fight.
Are you intrigued to see Enrique fight Bailey because of how we talked about him?
You want my honest opinion?
Yeah.
I'm not. I think Bailey is just a whole different level of a fighter. And I haven't seen a lot of fighters that have been fighting. Like I haven't seen Enrique fight, but I just think Bailey's just different. So I'm not like, ooh, if he loses, I'm gonna be surprised. Like I don't see him losing. I don't know if that's me not picking right now. I'm not supposed to pick, but that's only my own. I don't know. I just feel he's just different. He's just different. And again, like I said, I haven't seen a lot of Enrique fight. I haven't seen him fight a lot.
Fair enough.
I've seen a couple. I did see the Pro Point one, and maybe a couple other ones here and there. I think there's one you guys showed me of him fighting in Ireland or something like that. Thing that I think it was one of those videos you guys showed me where he was fighting. He didn't have a shirt on or something like that. I forget what it was.
That was Pro Point, I think.
That was a different fight. There was something else you guys showed me. But you know, I thought he was good. I thought he fought well. But again, I just look at what I've seen from Bailey. I think it's going to be a good fight.
It is. It's going to be a good fight.
I think
it's going to be a good fight for the first 2 rounds.
Why do you say for the first 2 rounds, though?
I think because of that, the kicking. And until you've done VFT and you don't.
Right. You know what it feels like, what it is like in there.
Being in that cage. Because when Jason fought, his brother fought, and he was there in the building, they were in Texas.
They weren't in the cage.
On the mat. They weren't in the cage.
And he broke his toe like 18 times. That's the same kid, right?
Who,
same
Jason?
Kid, right?
Yeah, that was Jason. That was his little brother. That's who's fighting.
Though, right? Same.
Yeah.
Same kid, though.
Not Enrique, but Jason, yes.
Bailey's just different, man. And maybe that's why I am kind of how I'm feeling, because seeing that from the brother there, right?
Yeah.
We're able to really get to see what we want to see, because the toe kept breaking. My bad.
That was no bad. It's your thought process. I don't care.
I love you.
So
I love you, bro.
Listen, it's all about energy and what you see. Like, you mean, we always talk about camps, we always talk about what comes through. Like, you mean, when you see Morgan and you see Avery, you know what you see.
It is true,
right? You see Bailey, you see Brandon, you see Romani, you know what you see. When I see certain things, it's kind of like, well, maybe.
Maybe.
All righty then. Let's end it on that. You see what you see, people.
We moving on.
We're gonna move on. All right. Shoot, I guess we could talk about the recap. I saw there was a lot of tournaments that some different tournaments and different things happened this weekend. It was some Mexico. There was another tournament too.
Battle at the
I
Beach
think Florida had something again. Like they basically have a tournament every week.
A couple weeks, but yeah.
There's another tournament.
I know John Cortola won that one.
Oh, did you guys see Israel Adesanya fight? No.
I knew it was on, but I didn't watch it.
No. Okay.
I've been going to sleep mad early, like every night, like 10:30 minutes. Just been drained, so I ain't got time.
Yeah. No, I was preoccupied in Baltimore.
I was driving.
Yeah. I will say this: I am old. I'll tell you that much. I can't.
Can't hang like you used to.
Can't do it like you used to.
No.
And it can't. I think we can still do it like we used to. I just think the morning, the next day is like non-existent now.
So here's the thing. What I found out, which is kind of crazy, when if I drank, it calmed my stomach down. So I had to start drinking at like 2.
Is it like an upset stomach? Is it just your stomach hurt? Like, is it like,
well, it's like
diarrhea?
I have to go to the restroom a lot. So especially in the mornings, I have.
You don't have like Crohn's or anything, do you?
No, I have colitis.
Okay, so
but that's why it made no sense because like I got everything under control, and I was like, all right, I'm good. I make sure I take my medicine, I'm good. So when I go out there, I'll be all right. And it just went haywire Thursday, like. Because I guess
I was gonna say you probably had something that really didn't agree with it, and then
I think it was. This is what I really honestly think it is. I think because a long time ago, or a couple of years ago, my doctor had told me, he said, stress can do that, and I don't like flying, so that is not an experience I actually enjoy. So therefore, like my
your anxiety and everything,
it just went haywire for it. Like, yo, all right.
Sound theory.
Yeah.
No,
So, but the thing is, I think it's always that way. If the more I fly, the more I just don't care. But if I take a long time since me flying and not flying, like I haven't in the last year and a half,
it's like resetting and starting all over again. Almost.
Yeah. So I got to get used to flying again. The whole process, I cannot stand it though. Like
waiting in the TSA line.
Yeah, that's when it hit. That's what's crazy about it. That's when it hit, and I was like,
"That's
I can't go anywhere. Like I'm stuck. I'm just like fighting through here." And then, so when I finally get there, I had like my laptops because I still had work to do. I didn't take off work, so I just took like my laptops, and I knew I had to do the pod on Sunday, so I had to take 2 laptops through. So I put those things in there, and I have a portable monitor. So when I took that, I forgot I left that in the bag. And they were like, "Oh, we got to rescan your bag." So they took it out and put the portable monitor in its own thing and went back through. And I'm sitting here like, "Fam, where's the closest restroom?" I said, "Where's the closest restroom?" He's like, "Oh, it's down. You gotta go to the house." Okay, I'll be right back. Just hold it. And he was like, "No, it's coming down right now. Just wait." I'm like, "Dog, I cannot hold this thing. You have no idea what's been going on the last 20 minutes. Like I am."
Y'all is messing with me right now.
They're gonna think you smuggling.
Yeah, I know, right?
Smuggling.
Oh, something was getting smuggled out. Like,
let's go.
And that would be happy we came out of there.
Sir, do not flush.
Yeah, I'm like, hey. Nah. So So I had to rush and do that. But anyway, so because now I think about it, I've had some different experiences doing this. Like going to Diamonds one year, it's been that way. So, yeah.
Trucks, man.
Yeah, I got to get to the airport earlier. And you know what's bad? And I'm just gonna sound crazy, but I decided I was gonna fly first class just because I knew I could. Right? I wanted to see what it was like to fly first class. And you know what I got robbed of?
What?
That experience of getting up and getting on the plane before everybody else.
Or you was late because they had to search your bag.
Because search bag,
and he was off in the,
and I had to use the bathroom. So when I got there, everybody already boarded, and so so I missed that experience. I just sat in the front, like boom, couldn't even look at y'all while I walked past y'all. Look at y'all like peasants.
Don't look at me.
Yeah,
close my curtain.
Out of my way.
Close my curtain.
Yeah, I couldn't even do that. So it was just kind of like, all right, well, I'm here now.
But it's comfy up there, though.
It is. I enjoy it. I may have to fly first class more often. I'm honestly because
I just for my sheer size, like I'd rather fly first class.
Exactly.
Because the seats now are just it's too small. Like I mean, you don't have that problem, Chris, but we have that problem.
No, man. Look,
right when someone set that seat back, yo, that's.
Oh, I was about to go there. I was about to. The dude linked his thing back, and it didn't hit my knees. I was like, oh my god, this is wonderful. Oh my god, I want to look around like
I kick my leg.
Yeah, I'm like, it did. Oh, I can tilt this sucker. Oh yeah, all right. And the flight attendant was a little nice and happy, like, hey, how you doing? I'm like, oh, so how long is this flight? It's only an hour. Dang, I need to do it. I need to do a longer flight just to enjoy this.
Yeah, when I flew down to Florida back in February, I flew down first class. But my first flight didn't really have a first class, so it was like regular class for everybody, right?
Yeah, you sit in the front.
And then the second one had the first class, and it was cool. I got to sit with this lady. She was like the head of like radio, like national radio or something like that. She was like the head like person that's like the president of it or something like that. She's sitting next to me, just talking to me, just telling me her stories and everything, and how she has a black stepson and all the stuff that she does for him and this, that, and the other, you know. This is like, what are you doing at first class? Like, she didn't really say like, what are you doing at first class? She's like, so what do you do? It's like, well, you know,
yeah, exactly.
I want to go out of school.
Yeah, I'm too big. That's the other thing. Nobody ever said anything to me about it. So I was thinking like something like, no, all right, no.
What do you do?
I'm the director of software engineering. People, yes, leave me alone. But I didn't.
You look the part though. You look like you belong.
I look like an old NFL player because it was an NFL PA guy on there because because he looked at me. I guess he was trying to see if I played or something. So he just kind of looked at me and then just nodded his head because he had NFL PA all over him. I'm just like, all right, so I guess, all right, brother, I know, know much how you doing up here, but and there was one other guy who got on super late and I don't know, he had like sunglasses on, a mask, right? You got to wear your mask, but he also had like this thing, like a pharaoh over his head or something, like one of those head dresses or something like that. And he got on, and he had like some. I was like, brother, you in incognito for real. So I don't know who you are. You a tall brother, but enjoy, brother. I have no idea what's going on with you. Go right on now.
To your seat, please.
Yeah. He
stay there.
He got on first class at the end, like he got on like after everybody else. I was like, he might have been in like the what do you call it, the Delta Sky Club or something.
The Sky,
yeah. Until it was time to him. All right, last 5 seconds. Nobody knows who I am. Let me just jump on this thing or something. But it was cool little experience. But I got robbed of it. My first class experience almost. But all right, what else we got to talk about? That's about it.
Yeah,
I don't think it's much else because I honestly, without seeing any of the footage, there's not really much we can talk about from these different tournaments, these different events.
Nope. Like I said, we don't even know what was going on down there in Mexico. Yeah. I don't know whose event it was. I don't know. It looked like it was like a Waco qualifier for them.
Possibly.
Because I saw a few different people post stuff, but I don't know what all those fights were. They look like set matches.
Saying, "Hey, I won."
Yeah,
that's how proper I did.
Junior, I was gonna say Junior was down there. Carol and Brian.
Yeah, I didn't know Bailey had fought until I saw the kick.
The footage. Yeah, I knew he was down. I knew he was down somewhere because I seen some pictures. It posted on social media. So
John Curtolo won.
That's what I said at Battle of the Beach.
John Curtolo won. Yeah, I did see that because I'm holding up the money. So congratulations to him. Yeah. Los, you think you might make it down to VFT 9?
No.
Baseball, huh?
My son has a tournament in Niagara Falls.
Oh yeah, on the American side, or do you have to go for Canada?
Yeah, on the American side.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought they were still locked down.
I think they are. Yes. I think they are.
Yeah. No, my oldest got a traveling game that weekend.
Yeah, that was the other thing that happened this weekend. When I got there Thursday. On Friday, that's when DC opened up. Everything just pretty much opened up that weekend. So it was weird because I had one of my bartenders that I knew there, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm at this bar," and I was like, "All right, I'm gonna come through." And so when I went over there, I was thinking she was at her old spot because the names are very similar, and so but Lyft took me to the correct place, and I walked in. I'm thinking it's going to be a nice establishment where I need to get cash, but it was a regular club. And so when I walked in, I was like, "Oh, this is not what I thought." but it was packed. And I'm like, this is Thursday. They a little early because they're not supposed to be open like this. They're not supposed to open until tomorrow.
Midnight, man. They was just getting ready.
It wasn't midnight yet. It was like 11, and it was already packed. So
they was getting ready. This was the pre-party for the opening up at midnight.
Yeah, well, they did a good job because I was in there like, oh shoot, all right, yeah, this kind of dope. And then I saw one of my friends in there that I hadn't seen in years, and he was just walking around. And I was like, oh shoot, he was like, what you doing up here? I was like, oh, BE's 40th. He was like, all right. So we chopped it up for a second, and he was his normal drunk self, and it was just took me back.
His normal drunk self.
Yeah, it just took me back. Him and his randomness, his random thoughts. But all right, since we don't have anything else. We can go ahead and get out of here. I'll see some of you guys this weekend. Not saying where I'll see you guys, but I'll see some of y'all this weekend. Chris, we'll see.
It's this weekend?
What, VFC 9?
Yeah.
No, it's next weekend.
No, next weekend, right? Okay.
Yeah,
you're talking about this weekend for something else?
Yeah, something else. Something else that's not playing to promote them. So we're not talking about them until. Yeah. I would love to talk about some of the things they have going on this weekend.
Ooh, me too.
But we're gonna have to wait till next week to talk about what actually happened. But
correct.
Yeah, because we got some people we know fighting. Actually,
quite a few people. Well, we talked about the one. We talked about the one.
We talked about the one, but the other people are Mimi and Lump
like,
gonna be there
whoa.
too. They're popping up too. So, Chris, are you fighting? You don't know yet? You might.
Probably.
We'll see. He might fight. So it might be a whole bunch of people from the Martial Arts Network out there fighting, kicking people up, beating people up. You know what I mean?
Yes. It'll be a good time. It's written on.
Anyway, all right, let's get out of here, man. I gotta need to get some sleep because I was a struggle fest tonight.
See through I think that my skills getting better. With a stick, I'm in peace, Mandela. I'm willing to feed whoever. How can I help you? Nobody judge you but God. You can watch us beat the odds. This ain't no cat, no facade. Young, rich, and black, and we gon' beat the charge. I'm spending cash, no card. I'm liking her natural, no fraud. If she got a fake, of course, girl, ain't nothing wrong with enhancing this.